Yeah. Just let me know when you're closer to being allowed to.
Yeah, cause trying to think if we should get a U-Haul.
Huh?
I'm gonna have Dad come up with me so he can throw all his shit in that garage, so he can empty out the SUV, and then I'm probably gonna maybe we're gonna just go get a trailer again, and then take out whatever we can. I don't know how much it'll be for a couple
Yeah.
days.
If there's an extra key.
If there's an extra key, I'll let you know, and then I'll just leave it in the somewhere in this. If you don't want to meet me at 1, I'll just leave it in a spot that you can get it, like in that garage or something.
Okay. I'll probably meet you at 1 if you're there.
Okay.
It's usually the time we leave to go get food or around that time.
I'll let you know when I'm on my way down to the house.
That way, so I told her.
Cause I
bring
still
all the boxes and packing stuff up, so that way
have to go down to Salt Lake and pick up your guys' stuff.
that way she can pack her shoes and everything while I'm at work. All her things. That way throughout the week, just all the small things.
Probably gonna have to help your dad with the washer and the dryer. You're gonna have to help your dad with the washer and the dryer. That's the heaviest thing we have in that storage. So you know. You know your uncles aren't gonna help. They work. And Gala's lazy.
We'll take Charlie too first thing.
Okay. Well, when I go there, I'm gonna see what we have to do and probably call like the power and all that. If you wanna call the internet.
They give you that stuff to set up
Huh?
the house,
What stuff?
utilities and everything.
No,
Power and
that's what the realtor's for.
Huh?
The realtor will probably. I said the realtor probably.
Huh?
The realtor probably will talk about all that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how it works. Probably like when you move to a place where you have to call everything and set it up yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Because I have all this, and we need a mailbox. All this. That's how much I had to sign, so. So I want to like empty it out, and I got toilet paper in the trunk. You got toilet paper in the trunk.
Okay.
That Grandma bought when we went to see Grandpa. God. Alright, I'm gonna go because my bladder's full. Alright. Let's go get your guys' stuff.
I know.
Getting out of the way.
So,
Well, maybe Carly needs to stop smoking and hold on to it.
She doesn't eat. She doesn't smoke.
Well, what's she gonna do when she's pregnant? She gonna smoke because she can't eat?
She'll eat once a day. That's about it, but barely anything.
Well,
So
she'll
we'll
be
see when
hungry
she's
with a
pregnant, see if
baby.
She gets hungrier.
Yeah, a baby will make her hungry. That's for sure.
Huh?
I said a baby will make her hungry, that's for sure.
We'll see.
She gotta eat for 2. Alright. Alright. I don't want to go to Salt Lake.
The car's embarrassing.
I know, it has poop on it. Gosh. Just because it has bird poop. But his is not. His looks like a bum lives in it. Okay, then I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Love you.
Me too.
gosh, I have not heard from you in a minute. How is school if you're still there? I was talking to my son.
Great things podcast is I try to mix it up and change things around. I don't want to just like literally read a book to you for weeks. That reminds me of how Andy Kaufman used to stand up in front of crowds. He didn't read The Great Gatsby as long as he could until everybody left. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to just start reading, and again, a chapter here, a chapter there. And I've picked a wonderful time to do it, right? When, like I say, my allergies are bothering me because I'm such a sensitive, naked man. But if you wait for everything to be perfect, well, you know how it goes. It's never going to be. One of the things about this book that I think I should point out here is the subtitle, because it's called The Secret Wisdom of Kukulkan. And Kukulkan refers to a Mayan deity. And in the book, I get into who Kukulkan is and these comparisons to other figures that come down from the sky, the feathered serpent and such. And I don't think we're going to make it that far today. But the subtitle is Interdimensional Contact in a Holosentient Universe, where we talk about, aliens, ghosts, cryptids, ESP, and you, how it all relates. And I invented that word holosentient because it's more than a holograph where you're sort of seeing things. Holosentient means it's like a holograph that allows you to feel things, right? Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to start reading this to you. And I want to also point out that I might just take, this is 2022, I might just take December of this year off. Just to relax a little bit, catch up on some things. I bought a new house this year, and there's still a lot of work to be done. There are a lot of boxes to be unpacked. So if I take off this December, we'll just replay some best ofs for you, so you'll know on there. I'll talk to producer Tom Danheiser about that, and we'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to be giving away some really cool stuff to those of you who subscribe to my free e-newsletter. If you go to joshuapwarren.com, right there on the homepage, there's a little box. You can't miss it. Put your email address in there. Hit the submit button. You'll be subscribed, and you will instantly receive an automated email from me that's got some links to some really great online digital gifts you can instantly take advantage of that will help you start making more money and helping you make your life more magical. All that is on the homepage of joshuapwarren.com. I am Joshua P. Warren, and you're listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. And I will be right back.
I want to be one of the world's biggest drag queens.
You've heard the name Marsha P. Johnson, trans icon, revolutionary, saint.
They call me a legend in my own time.
But who was she, really?
She's strutting up there, waving to the policemen in the cars. They had no mind. I'm a woman, a real woman.
Marsha also survived homelessness, sex work, and police violence. And in 1992, her body was found in the Hudson River. Her death remains unsolved.
Marsha was pulled out of the water, right over the edge here.
Afterlives is a podcast about how trans lives we've lost have reshaped our world. Marsha will tell us who she was in her own words.
You're gonna be gagged. Get your heart ready for heart failure.
At a time when trans rights are under attack, her story is more urgent than ever. Listen to Afterlives on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jan Marsalek was a model of German corporate success.
It seems so damn simple for him.
Also, it turned out, a fraudster.
Where does the money come from? That was something that I always was questioning myself.
But what if I told you that was the least interesting thing about him?
His secret office was less than 500 meters down the road. I often ask myself now, did I know the true Jan at all? Certain things in my life since then have gone terribly wrong.
I don't know if they followed me to my home.
It looks like the ingredients of a really grand spy story. Because this ties together the Cold War with the new one.
Listen to Hot Money, Agent of Chaos on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Test, check 1, 2. You know you need New York. You know you need New York. Does that sound all right? Ah, that's better. You can always tell something's missing when you get isolated results. Like AI that's only right for one of your systems. Get AI that can work across your data and applications. Learn more at IBM.com. The AI built for business. IBM.
Welcome back to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. I'm your host, the Wizard of Weird, Joshua P. Warren, beaming into your wormhole brain from my studio in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, where every day is golden and every night is silver. By the way, the first time I invented that term, the wormhole brain, was when I revealed it in this book that came out in 2009, The Secret Wisdom of Kukulkan. And when this book came out, there was a lady who I respect a lot who emailed me, and you've probably heard me say this before, but it was so flattering and such an honor that I repeat it once in a while. She said, and this woman was probably in her 60s, and she said, I read the first paragraph and I realized this was the book I had been wanting to read my entire life. Well, yeah. So, let's just dive right in. And like I said, I'm going to talk about some other stuff tonight. It's not just going to be this, or today, or whenever you're listening. Excuse me. All right, The Secret Wisdom of Kukulkan. Interdimensional contact in a holosentient universe. What is knowing? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. Edgar Allan Poe. Chapter 1. What are you? If I took a mighty hand and squashed every bit of water and empty space from your body, you would be the size of a pea I can roll between my fingers. Most of you is nothing. That is why so much will pass through your empty spaces. Radio waves, X-rays, magnetic fields, and so on slip right through you. A loose cluster of matter has adhered to us, but we are so egocentric that we usually think of ourselves as a solid and ultimate mass. As time advances and knowledge grows, we understand more and more that we are less and less. So, what are you? You are one infinitely tiny pinpoint of awareness surrounded by an ever-changing energy field. And yet that quantum speck that is you can funnel and channel vast information from the sprawling cosmos and from unimaginable dimensions. The seed of your being, consciousness, and awareness is an infinitesimally small wormhole. And what you know is the information that flows through it, in and out, connecting the energy fields, flowing and standing around it. You are a faucet and a drain, pouring forth data and receiving it. That is the permanent you that has always been and will always be. Anything else extending from you is temporary, fluctuating, and bound to perpetual cycles of growth and decay in many various forms. This tube of information exchange, the dynamic seat of your consciousness, we will call the wormhole brain, or WHB. Though all are similar, no two are exactly alike. Some are larger or smaller than others, able to transfer more or less. The way in which the information is ultimately processed includes the filters of your physical brain, or lack thereof, as in single-celled organisms. Though the wormhole brain of you, an eagle, a bear, and a shark are equally impressive, the physical brain determines how that initial flow of cosmic information should be used. What is relevant to that particular creature's survival at that particular time in that particular place? For example, at the wormhole brain level, you are not necessarily more intelligent than a dog. But the dog's physical brain extracts the information most suitable for the dog's survival needs, just as yours extracts the information suitable for a human. And yes, when one creature's form dies, it may eventually congeal or reincarnate into another creature's form. But there really is no such thing as death, just decay and transformation. Your life in this realm, as a mature, self-contained soul, begins the moment you are separated from your mother and no longer dependent on her alone for immediate survival. Your life in this realm as a mature, self-contained soul ends the moment your consciousness fully detaches from your energy mold. These are the points when you transition through incarnations, and since all things in the universe are connected, the pattern of the stars and planets can signify things about your cycle. Astrology is based on time-worn observations of cycles and outcomes, hence its ability to define characteristics of your incarnations. You don't necessarily remember your past selves. There's no point in it, as there have been more incarnations of you than sand grains upon the beaches. You may catch a glimpse of your recent incarnations once in a while, but it's not worth focusing on, any more than focusing on an old car now that you have a better one. And if it's not better, well, it's your job to make it better, to create what you want. In the periods of time between your incarnations, the energy field around your wormhole brain is shaped like a sphere. You literally appear as a ball of light. The sphere is the most perfect, balanced, and efficient form. Photographers capture orbs created by specks of dust moisture, reflections, etc. The true orbs, the ones that move slowly on video, passing through walls, brightening and dimming, bouncing and interacting, are discarnate beings. They are wormhole brains surrounded by a basic energy field, and their interests are as varied as those of species within the animal kingdom. Are they good? Are they bad? It all depends on who is asking the question. You may as well ask the same question of all the people living on your street. Different people would give a different answer, but there is one universal truth. All beings first consider self-interest. If you contribute to the self-interest of a being, you are good to that being. And if you do not, you are bad. Of course, there is a wide spectrum of shades in between, and that is why relationships are so intricate and complex. Good and bad are subjective and culturally influenced terms, and you must decide what is good or evil based on what harms others, while respecting others' rights to harm themselves to some degree. Like all things, a wormhole brain can become infected, especially the joint where it extends into the energy field that becomes your physical brain and body. Sometimes this infection is due to a discarnate wormhole brain that forces it into your energy field, and this is traditionally called possession. That is generally too powerful a word, since the individual is not entirely possessed, but strongly influenced. And this can happen most easily when the person's wormhole brain, due to lack of mental exercise, or because it opens too widely due to irresponsible use of mind-altering substances like drugs or alcohol. And when someone becomes possessed, removing the invasive wormhole brain can be a challenge. The key is to find what the invader fears or finds unpleasant. Subjecting it to that will eventually work. For example, if the parasite believes in a god that will damn one to hell, well, making threats in the name of God can work. If the parasite thrives on the energy of alcohol, avoid alcohol, and it will eventually leave to locate another source. That is when helping someone regain control begins with understanding the conditions that led up to the possession, and then how the parasite has been fed since then. To maintain control of yourself, spend considerable time each day exercising your intellect by reading about philosophy, science, and history, or working on puzzles and creative compositions of positive music or art. Those tasks provide well-rounded challenges to keep you mentally alert and fit. Time for a break. When we come back, I'll move on to the last section of this, which is what happens when inevitably, well, your body decays and you die. I've talked about this before, but you might be very interested to hear this spin on it as I read more from my book, The Secret Wisdom of Kukulkan. A little later, I have a UFO update for you and a question for you. I need your help, I guess. I'm Joshua P. Warren. You're listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. I'll be back after these important messages. iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua P. Warren, and this is the show where the unusual becomes usual. I'm reading from chapter 1 of my 2009 book called The Secret Wisdom of Kukulkan. You can find it as an ebook in my Curiosity shop on my website, or you can buy a printed copy off of Amazon. Back to the chapter. Inevitably, over time, your present human body will decay and die. Do not be depressed as you watch your body weaken. Keep your mind strong, and you can help minimize the impact of watching your form decay by visiting sacred sites. These are places that energize and excite you. Most of them have places that allow your brain to relax and slip into peaceful states. Any muscle clenched too long will tire. Your energy. Sacred sites are places where the earth gives forth high energy fields, massaging and rejuvenating yours. They can be huge, exotic, and famous, or a nook you've been lucky enough to find near your house. Most of them are near water. Enormous ruins, like the pyramids, were usually built near water. We'll explore that more later. Personally, I go into water to re-energize myself, and my favorite place is a special bay in Puerto Rico. Because we are an energy field fed by a tiny wormhole, we are able to influence and be influenced by other energy fields. Other people, beings, objects, and places in nature impact us, and we impact them. This is called the Mind-Body-Environment Connection, or MBE. Paranormal investigation is so difficult because researchers are usually implementing extremely sensitive devices, hoping they can measure some subtle field. But the more subtle the field, the more it is drowned by the researcher's equipment and very presence. Much paranormal activity only transpires in the physical presence of an observer. If the investigator leaves the site, that activity may not occur. Remote cameras play an unclear role in this process since they are actually extensions of the researcher's physical presence. I'm talking about a subject that can be viewed from two extremes. Firstly, when you walk into a room, you carry with you a storm of electromagnetic energy. Tiny lightning bolts of electrostatic charge shoot around you every moment, making changes in the room that we may not notice during the daily distraction of a routine walk, but nonetheless distort the energy environment significantly. Every object in the world, including your body, maintains a property called isotropic capacitance. You see, we generally think of a world filled with conductors, things that allow electricity to pass, and non-conductors or insulators, things that do not allow electricity to pass. But it is that everything is actually dielectric, meaning, in my term, it is capable of conducting some electrical energy within certain parameters. We simply call the ones that conduct the best conductors and those that conduct the worst insulators. Since every bit of physical mass is transferring energy all the time, when you walk into a room, there are over fields of energy between you and every object in the room. It's the same when you step outside. Your body is somehow touching every tree, each cloud, each stone, and blade of grass. You are connected to the world around you. The strength of that connection is powerful and direct. But it is so complex that we can't yet fathom all the webs, nor account for all the variables, changing every second by the billions as you simply move, think, and exist in this world. Sure, properties like humidity affect the degree of interaction, but a lightning bolt forms in rain because the power of the bolt is greater than the amount of moisture that can diffuse it. Some people and energies are stronger than others. But furthermore, to fully appreciate the mind-body-environment connection, you must consider the wisdom of quantum physics. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle has proven that by merely observing something, you influence or change what is being observed. You may not understand the full implications of that yet, but you will. Think about what it means. By existing, by observing, you create change in the world. Like it or not, for better or for worse, you are a creator. What do you create each day? And that is the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2 is called, What Are You? So I'm not going to read any more of the book on this particular show. So I guess that means as I go through this project, I'm probably going to get like a chapter per show when I decide to do this. How many chapters are there? Whew, there's 7 chapters. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before this is... but here are the chapters. Chapter 1 is the one I just read. Is called What Are You? Chapter 2 is called Where Are You? Chapter 3 is called Tools to Access Truth. Chapter 4 is where we finally dig into it. It's called Kukulkan. Chapter 5 is called Wisdom and Time. Chapter 6 is called the Paratemporal Loop Hypothesis. And chapter 7 is called Your Purpose and Intention. So, but you know what? This is not one of these big, thick books. I could have done that. I have written books before that are over 400 pages. That was a novel. But I didn't want this to be a big, thick book because I thought that would defeat the purpose. I wanted it to be sort of like a very digestible little book. And so, depending on how you read it, I mean, you know, it's probably less than 100 pages, depending on, you know, what form it's in and how it's printed and all that. And, you know, I wrote it a long time ago, really. Again, 2009 is when it came out. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting as I read through this. Maybe I'll disagree with some of the things that I said, or maybe I'd rephrase things differently. I don't know. But I hope that you enjoyed that. And